Hello everyone. Yeah, that was random Morse code noises. I don't know what the hell that was about. Yeah, we're whatever. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Just trying to sort this camera out a little bit. 1 second. Shave a bit off there. There we go. Hello everyone, welcome back to a live stream. Sorry we weren't live last week. I was actually away with the family, took the wife and kids over to Belgium and the Netherlands for a few days. So we've had a lovely time over there and we got back quite late, well very late on Monday. I had also another late night last night because my daughter threw up, so we took her to the doctor hospital. I'm very tired, but we're going to do a live stream anyway. If you don't know what this is basically a chance for you to ask me anything you like. You can ask me anything to do on your engine, game dev, anything you really want at all. All you have to do is put your questions into chat, and I'll try and grab as many questions as I can whilst we are live, which will be about an hour. So, let's jump in and take a look at what some questions we already are receiving. So I saw this question come up whilst I was getting things ready. Iron Thumbs, do you know of a way to take screenshots in-game? Choose in-game, for example, a thumbnail of a save game slot. Yeah, so for more detailed example, if you check out my photo mode, camera, sort of Pokemon Snap-esque tutorial series, you'll see an example of it there being used. But yeah, basically, when you save it to your folder, you can then reference that and load the asset in. You just need to store the reference as a string file. For example, you do a scene capture component and you save the asset. I can't remember what this node's called now. Async. So it's in that video. You can check it there. Download image. Like this will be the one you use to reclaim the image. Okay. But the oh, I can't remember. Check out the video series I've done with the photo mode. I do cover it in that. You can check it out. Basically, when you're storing it, you can generate the string URL it's going to have, and then you can call it up. Yeah, the URL is the file directory. Yeah, it uses URL, but it also means like the directory. So yeah, but yeah, check out those videos. It'd be a lot better than me trying to remember how to do it. The Pickle Man. Hey Ryan, can you show us how to stop? I guess I'm going to say character head from clipping through walls in the first person when climbing. Okay, it's a bit specific to do something like that, but I'll try my best to explain because there could be numerous reasons why yours is clipping. It shouldn't clip, first of all, if you're in first person, because your first person character, the camera should be within the capsule, or at least behind the capsule. So it shouldn't clip. Yeah, if it does clip because of animation, because you've attached it to the head maybe, and that's what's doing it, and then you got animation of it doing that to the head. Detach the camera from the head, ideally. But in any case, then you need to have your animation, your character offset slightly. I don't really have any animations I can bring in. Let me have a look. try to do a first person sort of climbing thing. Oh, also, thank you for everyone who submitted their games on the Game Jam. The live stream, their voting is still going on until the 22nd. The live stream where we'll play it live and pick a winner will probably be maybe this weekend. I have to check my calendar when there'll be a good time to do it exactly, but it will be shortly after. Let's add some climbing animations to it. Okay, so in here we should have our climbing animations. There they are. And we'll just do root motion, sure. And I'll just do a basic climbing loop. Climb up. Not too sure which one it will be. Climbing, climb, stop. Climbing dash, climbing turn, climbing idle. Maybe this one? Don't know. Yeah, that looks kind of right. Sure, we'll take that one. So I need to first of all retarget it. So that's climbing up, root motion, and we'll do. Oh, we could actually do in place. It's not a problem actually. And tight skeletal mesh. We'll do many simple. Sure. Sport animations, and we'll just chuck it there in the folder. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we're going to get this character to start climbing. So I'm just going to do I'm going to cut a few steps out to get to the main root of the problem. So when I push the debug key for 1, we're going to take the start climbing. So I do start climb. We'll have another one for stop climb. Oh, getting very hot in here already. So yeah, on start climb here, we're going to just have a variable saying is climbing. That'd be fine. And we'll just set that to true. Stop climb, false. Then we need to go to the animation blueprint. So this one is the 5.6 version, which is the head. They've detached the head somewhat, not detached it, but stretched it out so you can see your body when you look down, but not clip through it, which is what normally happens. So we'll try and get around that. So we're going to do on init animation blueprint. Try get pawn owner. Cast to first person character. And just collect that as a variable. Okay, so over here we are going to update animation, get the is climbing, and promote that to a variable as a quick way around it. Not ideal way of doing something like a climbing animation for the sequence here, but I'm cutting corners. So over here we want to blend by ball. Put that in there. Just climbing in there. And we'll just do the climb animation. Climbing up. There you go. Okay. So on start climb, to actually do the climb, we are going to set movement mode to flying. One thing to note whenever you are doing a climbing thing, by the way, when you enable flying, don't forget you need to go in and change your flying braking, because by default it is like floating, so you need to increase that up a lot. So braking deceleration flying will whack that way up to like 3,000, something like And the max fly speed would be your climbing speed. So I'll just do, I don't know, 100 for now. Okay. Okay, so start climb does that. Stop climb, we'll put that in here. I tell it to start falling. And on the event graph, I'm going to make this toggle which one it should do. So if it's true, stop climb. If it's false, start climb. Okay. Right, let's see if I can get that sort of working. So we go up to this wall here, push 1. So there's my animation like that. So I just need to make it so I can actually go up. I ain't done that bit. So for that, we're going to go to the movement function over here, where you get in the scale values, put into add movement input. So when I push W and S, I want it to go vertical rather than forwards over here. So this Y direction is going to change. In fact, all of this is going to change, right? So if I put in is climbing as a Boolean branch, so if it's false, it'll do all this. If it's true, I'm going to still add character movement, but we are going to, that would be forward and back as the scale value. This would be using the up vector. So get actor up vector instead. Okay, and that should stop that from happening. So climbing, and I'm climbing up. Okay. Oh, I forgot to make it loop. But yeah. Anyway, let's go back to that. Oop. And make this loop. Okay, so that logic here, what I should have done is put this on the parent. Hold on, take that off of there. My bad. I should put it on the mesh, third person mesh one. Here we go, this one. That's the one I wanted. We'll just do it here. False goes there, that goes there. Create variable. And then on the event graph, we'll just do cast to character. We'll just do character here. Cast to first person character. Oh, and yeah, we'll just do it here. Is climbing. That'll do. Because this is going to copy it from this copy mode, copy pose mesh from there. So that should do the same thing. So I hit 1 and I go up. Okay. Right. So, and I hit 1 again. I should drop. There we go. So the problem you're encountering when you're clipping through the wall, it's it depends on like the how the animation is set up, how the model set up, and so on. As you can see here, not much of a problem. Your problem may be that on your character, your mesh for the character is too far forward, or the animation is too far forward. So it may be like the character looking normal like this, but your climbing animation may be like way over here, for example. So, for example, oops, if I go and go here, for example, it depends on where the root is for your climbing animation. So this isn't too bad. It's pretty close, like close to center. If it needs to be, you want to move it move the pelvis further back. So you just go to pelvis here, add a key for it, and you're going to move it backwards a little bit like that. Add key. So it'll still climb, but it will climb further away from the wall. Okay, because imagine the root is the center of the object, so it's there, the center of this cube here. Cube? Capsule. So now you'll see this animation starts further away from the wall. Yeah. because I've moved it. Not this animation. Yeah, you get the gist. So that could be the main issue you're seeing. If in doubt, you can always detach the head from the camera and let it go. I said it's a few things it could be. That's what's saying. Okay, well, load of comments. Let's go through and see if we can find a question. If I do miss your question, don't fret, just put it back into chat. Hopefully without spamming it. In between where one... Okay, sorry, I'm trying to read this long one. Okay, so this is from Snowman's apartment. I'm working on a game with a lumberjack. My current goal is to make a realistic running animation which blends nicely between holding the axe only with one hand on the handle or when running fast enough when using both hands. I use the blend space right now, but I'm unsure how best to handle the in-between. There, one holds only with one hand or with both. I thought of still using a blend space, having some kind of cutoff where speed 400 or so, 1-2 nodes are needed added very close to each other. Let's say at speed animation with one hand, at speed 400 we hold both hands. At that point I would also fix the second hand on the socket on the axe to make sure that during blending the axe and both hands are both properly aligned. Yeah, okay, so it sounds like you've got it pretty much what you needed to do. There's a number of ways of doing it. So the blend space you're talking about when you put two that are closer together, to not make the blend be a big blend and make it a short blend. That could be totally fine to do. You can do that. So that is one way of doing it. The other way is you could have two different states. We have a walk, idle, walk onto run, and then back again. Like either way, it can handle that blend that way too. But it sounds like you're in the right place. That should be fine. Just make sure you just need to have animations. Obviously, it sounds like you have. So you need animations, obviously, running with one hand and running with two hands, and handle that blend. So it's not like halfway in the middle. I would probably make it two separate blend spaces personally, so you've got a very distinct cutoff point between the two, and easier to debug and things like that. So in your locomotion here, rather than just having idle walk and walk run in one, you have walk and then you have another one run, and that'd be the blend space of the second hand, and this will handle the blending between the two. But the difference with this blending is it can't stop halfway. It's going to go from one to the other. So that's probably what I would do if I were you. Sure, go ahead, Fiki. You have a question about scene capture 2D. I'm trying to make a photo mode from a project. Does scene capture 2D have anti-aliasing support? If yes, then why am I getting really bad output? If no, away. The really bad output, I mean, it's hard to know without seeing it, but the common problem that you see people have with the scene capture component is they don't change the texture size. So if you yeah, if I just go, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know what your texture looks like, so I can't diagnose it too well. But if you've got a scene capture 2D, most of the time I see people have this problem. Why is it so blurry and rubbish? The texture component, when you make this texture target, sure, open it up. You'll see the default size it sets it at is 256 by 256, which is really, really small. So I would recommend upping that, and you do that just here in size X and size Y to whatever you want. Pick it, as long as it's a power of 2, so 2048, for example, it's a good one to do. 1024, you know numbers. The reason why you want power of 2 is it's more efficient for memory to load and unload a texture in that way. It doesn't waste space. So, yeah. I imagine that is what you're seeing and why it looks so blurry. If you want to customize anything else related to the camera and how it captures it, you can modify some settings on the scene capture component itself. Like over here, you can change a few things in here. But I imagine that's the issue that you're having, because like most people have that issue. Do let me know if I'm wrong. So it's hard to know without seeing it. So I've got an eyelash sticking in my eye. Yeah. From Anthony Gaming, does the Unreal Engine 5 tutorial inventory system work in 5.6? Haven't tested it, but it should do. There's nothing in it that is exclusively for those younger versions. Oh my god, what's happening in my eye? David, can you share a simple example of how to do local prediction with animations in a multiplayer game? What kind of predictions are you thinking of? Like, there he is. Got it. What kind of predictions are you thinking of? Like the positioning. Losing my eye. Lashes. There's no easy way of doing it, like an official way of doing it. Not official. I mean, like no built-in way of doing it. Like it has its own predictive stuff in there through replication. Like a swing of a sword and plays locally right away. Oh, right, okay. Ah, right, yeah. So, okay, yeah, it's not exactly prediction problem. It's a synchronization problem. So, the animation itself there are different approaches to it. I'd recommend checking out a few, like you can find various talks about this topic for how some games have solved this certain thing. Rocket League is a good one. They got a good talk on that one, for example, and that's a really tricky one to do because of physics and things. But for canned animation, relatively simpler. It comes down to the structuring of when stuff should happen and when it shouldn't happen. So let me get paint up here and I can explain. It all comes down to when you call what. So let's say this is the server, this is the client. Okay, it's over time. So the client wants to swing the sword. You may be thinking of a technical, of a reason like this. So here, this event, the player pushes the button to swing a sword. That pings over to the server, which there's going to be some lag, so it's going to be a bit delayed over here. And then it's going to happen, and then send the response back to the client over here, or the other clients, and say that. So you've got this problem of this two-way split. So you've got double lag journey, okay? That's very much a problem. And then you think you'd play an animation on this second one over here. Not the case. So what you're better off doing is playing the animation like as you would. So this is the animation. It's just animation, like you play it locally. Oh. And then that's going to go over to the server and tell everyone else to play an animation. What's going to happen though is you're going to sort of check that this, like the client that's receiving animation is not the one that called the original animation. So the animation, the client that's using the button they've pressed is their local version and only them. Okay, the server will get the animation call and then tell everyone else to play the animation because they don't really care too much if it's slightly delayed. You do, obviously. So your animation is going to go ahead just fine, and the server will handle that call. Likewise, when you want to deal damage. So on your server side, so on your client side, the animation will then trigger like the damage being dealt, and that damage being dealt would happen over here and trigger it on this side of things, okay, on the server side. But there's a slight delay, obviously, because you've got the animation delay, then you've got the network delay, and then the server then will handle the damage and send it across, and then that will pass it through. Okay, the value that you're seeing change on your side of the screen or pop up on your screen, you've got a choice. You can either wait for it to be confirmed down here, or you can pop a value that looks like the right value. It should be the right value, and you're telling the server, hey, I've dealt this much damage, go ahead for it, and then the server can confirm it through whatever method. But the animation is not lagged too much, okay? The animation is firing off straight away. This is actually a really cool technique that was sold by the Halo guys for the first Halo for throwing grenades. They wanted to throw a grenade and see the grenade leave the hand when it should leave the hand. And they faked it with an animation. So when you play the animation, it's all client side. So the animation happens there, but the arm sweeps across the screen. And in that moment is like a small window of time where lag can happen and allow the grenade to be flown from the hand. So it's a bit of a trick. It's not there really. But yeah, for multiplayer games, it's all about handling this sort of like network connection. My diagram is rubbish. I think it's the Rocket League guys that showed this diagram off. It's really cool. It's a good way of explaining how lag works. Actually, I don't think it's the Halo guys that did this. I can't remember. One of those. They both got good talks. Check them out. They talk about some of the problems they'd overcome and how they solved them. But essentially, you have a local animation which is confirming the data that's happening behind the scenes. Everyone else considered animation like a frame behind. That's not a problem. They can handle that. They're not doing any calculations. They're just seeing a visual. It doesn't matter. But that's roughly it. Okay, that's roughly what you're doing. But do check out those talks. They're good talks to go through. They're quite old now. I don't like. But yeah, still worth checking out. Ren Strike, data tables or data assets? I personally prefer data assets. They're a lot more flexible in the sense that I can add more stuff to them if I wanted to, and they can have functions to them. So yeah, the annoying thing with data assets is that the export function doesn't work as well as it does with data tables. So data tables work really well for stuff that you can export out, fill out a data sheet or whatever, and pass it back through as a CSV. That's lovely, like that. But other than that, data assets I think are better. Do you have any tips on motion warping? I do. Try and think of an example I've got. I can show. Hold on. Let me add the third-person content to this. Yep. Let's go over to here. Let's do this roll dodge thing. Close that. Okay, we're in third person one now. So if I go to the third person, I brought in these rolls and dodges. Root motion. Let's just do a roll forwards, for example. So roll root forwards, this one. Okay. So I want this to be motion warped. Okay. So first of all, we need to retarget it. Let's do that. Roll forward, root. Sure. Yep. Okay. And we'll make that a montage. Righto. So, oh, one thing I didn't check. Is it actually ticked on to be root motioned? Doesn't look like it. No. So make sure you got it enabled, obviously. And then on the montage, you need to indicate when the motion warping is going to happen. And I've got a little tip for this bit. I disabled the hard way. I don't have it turned on. Hold on. Let me turn them. Why have they not got this turned on straight away? Motion warping. Right, we'll just restart that. Wait, let it come back. Yeah, so something I found out the hard way is with motion warping, you don't want to have the state of the motion warping notify state to be happening so close to the start of the animation. It won't work otherwise. So, let's go over here. Okay. Make sure that's still set to... Yep. Okay, so on the motion of the montage over here, notify state, motion warping. You need to indicate the area that you want it to warp between. So when you're going to set this up, you're going to say, aim for this location or rotation. And during this time frame, between the start here and the end here, it's going to warp to that location or rotation. Which, you know, isn't too bad. But the thing is, you have to be careful. You don't make it too long, because it would be really weird looking. You just think about the action that you're doing. So over here, the feet leave the floor, and then warp there. So I'm going to bring that bit forwards down there. Okay, so that first arc there, it's going to be a motion warp, and then the rest would be straight. On the motion warp notify itself, on the right hand side, you go to config. You've got two basically things you can warp. You can warp a translation, and you can warp a rotation, and both at the same time. Main thing is though, you need a warp target name. So we do MW, let's do MW motion warp. Okay, and you don't have to do much else really, unless you want to. But for the most part, no, you're fine. You can leave it like that. Okay, the rest are like so the curve, how much it eases it. At the moment, it's linear, so it'll go evenly from start to finish. You can also tell it to ignore the Z-axis changes if you want it to, or accept them. Different types of rotation methods, like various different things you can tweak. But for most things, you don't need to do much else. You can just leave it MW. Once you've done that, you go to your character. There you want this on. And you have to add a motion warping component. And you don't have to do anything on here. You can leave that alone. But let's say my character now, I want to do a roll with the right mouse button. Okay. And I'm going to tell it to play that animation. So I'm going to take the mesh, play montage, and choose that montage. Before you play the montage though, you need to tell the motion warping component a target or update for a particular warp name. So you take out the motion warping, and you do update warp. There you go. Target. Just do location and rotation. You know, you can pick one or the other. Either way, that'll be fine. And here you're going to give a target location or rotation. These are world coordinates. Warp target name, we know what that is. We've got to type that in. MW. But the target location and target rotation. So let's say I want this to turn my character around. So, well, like, it'll look really weird, but we'll turn my character around. Okay. So the target location is going to be, actually, no, I'll tell you what, we'll just do the add rotation first of all. Huh? Oh, whatever. MW. And I'll just get like get actor forward vector multiplied by -1 to get the backwards vector, and then plug that into there. Okay, so that'll give me, should turn my character around. Okay, without me pushing any other buttons apart from the right mouse button. So the way it works is motion warping component is storing this data in there. And then when you take it to play a montage, it'll reach the montage's notify state. It'll check the owner of its component and see if there's anything matching that value. If there is, great, use that value. What I will do though is, because we're just doing rotation, is I'll turn off translation. So I'm going to warp translation, turn that off. Okay. Oh, wrong map. Let's get to the right map first. There we go. So if I hit the right mouse button, my character's done like a 360, 180 around. Yeah. Now warp motion. This is a very basic example, and not a great example. A better example would be to use something like, if you wanted your character, when they're attacking with sword swipes and things, to sort of magnetize to their target, which is a good thing to do. You want to do that. Also depending on the type of game you're doing, but you want to magnetize your character to the target they're hitting, so they can just keep wailing on them. But yeah, that's the best use for it. And you can put in multiple of those states in one animation if you want you to. It's any changes to the update animation is going to take into account. Okay. Oh yeah, that's fine. So yeah, that is motion warping. Hopefully that helps understand a bit more about that. Have I done or will I do any videos on Common UI? Probably, yeah, we'll do. I haven't done any videos on them yet. So probably will do a few videos. It's got a few nice things in it. Some of the nice things they've got in it are coming to Unreal, probably 5.7, I imagine, because they're not in 5.6. I imagine in 5.7. And that, I mean, like they've got style assets which you can store and save. That's really handy. There's a few things with buttons that were improved. Hopefully they bring those forward. There's also things that are going to bring forward, I know, to a future version. I don't know which one. I'm going to guess 5.7. So I've been debating whether to hold off until then. But yeah, it's something to look at for sure. I know people want to use it more. Yeah. Eagerness. How can I optimize Unreal Engine lighting to be less intensive? Turn off Lumen is number one. Other than that, you can mess around with various other settings you've got in your project settings for lighting. Yeah, so on the rendering section, your global illumination, I would change from lumen to just none. Oh, for real. The reflection method probably doesn't need to be lumen. You can probably change it down to screen space to handle reflection method. Lumen is a big hog. Just get rid of it for games. If you wanted to do some really nice lighting effects, meta lights are better. I can't remember if they're turned on in here or not. No. Plugins. What's it called? Meta lights? No, what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. I've done a video on it. I can't remember what they called it. Their new fancy one. But yeah, Lumen's a hog. Anything like mega lights, that's it. Meta lights. I'm going mad. Meta lights, mega lights. Yeah. Not turned on. Not in here, so it must be already in there, baked in. Mega lights. There you go. You have to turn. You have to turn something on. Yeah, hardware ray tracing. You have to turn on hardware ray tracing first, and then you can turn it on. They're quite good to use. But other than that, yeah, Lumen, get rid of Lumen. No, you just yeah, sure. Pretty certain it's just ray traced. Support hardware ray tracing, and then I have to restart it. Mega lights. Turn it on. There you go, and then restart. But I'm not gonna do it now. They're quite good. Obviously, you need ray tracing hardware to be able to handle it. Oh, yeah, I know. I just hang on, turn it off. Turn it off. There you go. What do you think about using ambient occlusion in combination with lumen? When materials have ambient occlusion, it should reduce the load on lumen calculations. Also, optional SSAO, which can be combined with classic AO lumen. It shouldn't have any impact on that at all. The ambient occlusion, like, as far as I'm aware, and I know I'm not a lighting expert, so I don't know for certain, but if you have an ambient occlusion map in your texture, it's just it's just baked in. It doesn't stop it from happening with lumen. It'll still be there. You just add ambient occlusion maps to make your models feel a bit more detailed than they actually are. Yeah. It's like it's like, for example, making I want to light up a dark room, so I'm going to paint the walls white, but I still have the light in there. It's not going to the lighting up the room is not going to do much to the walls being painted. The texture has nothing to do with the light. They're two separate things. Hooligan. I'm working on roguelike similar to Balatro, but with coin pushing mechanic. Once mentioned that you use tags to organize different effects for your roguelike elements. Could you demo what you mean by that? For example, how would you handle adding a multiplier after unlocking it, say by opening a pack? Yeah, so I'm trying to think how I can't remember how I did it now. So let's say you have I'll go the Balatro method because I don't know what your method with the coins are. So let's say you have modifiers, card modifiers. Okay, so we have cards dot modifiers like that. Okay, and then I'll have another one in there saying multiplier like that. I also may have a subtag for cards saying like value, and then the value ones would have like ace 1, 2, and so on. And you may have other modifiers, so you may have like gold modifier, whatever. You put all the different things you have in it like this. Then on your card data, like the asset for your card. So let's say, for example, I'm just gonna make a generic actor here. You have your hand being specified like here. Okay, it's a variable. You'd have a structure for your hand. So structure, cards, like this. And here you'll have the details, I guess. Card tags, we call it. There you go, why not? And that'd be a gameplay tag container. Just the one. And in here we have game F card would be an array. So in here you have card 1, index 0. You can have you describe your card with the tags you have in it. So let's say it's an ace with a multiplier card on it. Yeah. And we should also add in here like not face suit as well, and do hearts, diamonds, and so on. I mean, you can also go further. So suit here, we can add a sub tag in here for like red, and then hearts can be part of the red one. So do hearts red dot. So suit red hearts, because there may be some things that say this affects only red cards, this only affects black cards, yeah, whatever. It's a lot easier to determine, like a heart is also a red card and is a heart card. It's very different. So over here we've got this container, which is going to be a ace of hearts with a gold with a multiplier modifier on it, and that's one card. Then I have another card in here, and when I draw them to the screen, I'll pass through my tags and just change what it's going to look like based upon those tags I have on it, as well as the behaviors of them. Yeah, so something like that. That's what I've done with mine. So yeah, your hand will have this, and yeah, no problem. Glad it helped. Is there any way to create photo mode without using scene capture 2D with blueprints? I mean, you can take screenshots. Take high-res screenshot. Give it the file name. Again, look at someone else asked this. Look at my photo mode. So you take a high-res screenshot. Yeah, and put the file name. Return here. Put stuff on that if you want, but the main thing is the file name, and that's what you want to store. And then when you want to load the image, you download the image, and the file name will go into there, and it outputs the texture here. So you use the highest screenshot method. Yeah, it should do. Yeah, it should work in ship and build. I haven't tested it, but it should do. Dizak, hi, my game is eating 90% 3D on GPU without barely anything on the screen. Any ideas for the reason? Yeah. Without barely anything on the screen. GPU. I mean, I've got a 3080, mine's sitting at 60 odd %. But then again, I am streaming as well as rendering and everything like that. Don't know. Are you running out something crazy like an 8K monitor? Don't do that. That'll help. But beyond that, you can try lowering the scalability settings in here. So if I change that. Okay, there's GPU. So let that sit for a second. So like idling what, 70%? So 90% isn't too far off. Like, again, I am streaming and other things. But let's experiment. If I turn that down, let's go to just medium. Okay. Just whilst we're working on it. Next down to 50%. So yeah, knocking down with the scalability will help. But yeah, there are also various things you can turn off and on. Help with this. You'd have to turn it all off. Yeah, you can turn things on and things are low. That may help. But yeah, totally up to you. Hit auto if you're unsure, and it'll find the most suitable. Epic. There you go. Freaky. I have one more question related to Linux. I don't know nothing about Linux. Can't help you on that one. If it doesn't, you want to build a project for testing, it doesn't run. I've never built for Linux. I have no idea. Obviously, I can't do it here, but yeah, it does. If it builds correctly, it should run correctly. But yeah. It's not the game. It's the editor. The editor takes up a lot of resources as well. This is why you find that when you package a game, your game will run better as a packaged game than it would be in the viewport of your editor. The editor itself has got lots of stuff going on. So, yeah, it's just a hog. How are we doing for time? I do have to shoot off soon because I've got to go into a session with someone soon. Which, by the way, if you want to take advantage of it, we do have a coupon code for our private one-to-one sessions. So if you want private training or support or guidance or whatever, head over to ryanlady.com. You can order your sessions there, all there now. Book sessions, order them, whatever you want to do. We have a coupon code of summer20 to get 20% off. So that is until the end of August. You can order them now. Don't have to book them right now. You can bank them for later if you want. But yeah, summer20. So SUMMER20 to get 20% off any order that you have on there. Quick question. When I'm zooming in on the widget blueprint, my images have disappeared if I zoom in too far. Doesn't it? I've never actually looked. It disappears when you zoom in too far. Can't say I've never noticed. I'm going to wrap it with something else as well. There you go, to do that. Chuck in this. Can't say I'm having the same issue. What did you say, zoom out? No, zooming in. I don't know, Blue Universe. I don't know what that problem could be. I've never seen it before. Never experienced it before. As you can see, I'm not really having that issue at the moment. I can't go any further in. That's as close as I can get. 20 zoom. Yeah. Let me know if you've got a different setup of what you're trying to do. Maybe. I don't know. Which CPU do you use? My God, I can't remember. It's so long ago. Hold on, let's have a look. I'll give you the full DX diag of what I've got. Hang on. It's quite old now, the PC. It's when did I get it? It's got to be about 5 years now. Entirely certain. It is showing its age a bit. I do want to get a new PC. And new parts and things like that, because there's all sorts of problems with it. I've had bits crap out on me. I've had to replace bits. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Gen i7. 64 gig of RAM. But yeah. So I do need a new one. Check the rendering for that image and see if your clipping is set to inherit. No, it should be, yeah. Yeah, clipping set to inherit. There's not a clipping issue because, like, it's in something. It's not in something. It's just the image. I can do click to bounds, but it won't unbound it because I've got it's an image thing. I need to have it inside something to click to bounds. How do you resolve light leaking issues? The best thing to do is try not to make your meshes flush. Try to make them clip a little bit. That'll help a lot. If you're baking your lighting, make sure your light maps are higher resolution. But other than that, that's about it, really. Is motion warp better using melee combat or move 2? Motion warp is better to use, yeah. So, my eye, what's going on? By the way, if you are a Patreon member, we've got a chance for you to be in my game Mimic. We are adding something called the Manifest, which is basically collectibles in the game, what you can find and collect, which are IDs of passengers and crews members on the ship in the game. And you can collect them and rewards that way. But we're going to make it so we're going to give you guys a chance to be. And you can be from anywhere, any age, whatever. There's a form on the Patreon page you can click on and just fill out some details. Upload a passport-like photo. It doesn't be exactly like a passport photo, but something that looks like a work ID badge. Essentially, that's what it's going to be like. So if you want to be part of the game, you can put that up there. Put your name. You don't have to use your real name. You don't have to use your real date of birth. If you don't want to, you can just create your own character and just put the image in. Totally up to you. You pick whatever you want. Obviously, everything gets vetted, and if it needs to be readjusted, I'll contact you and ask you to adjust it to something a bit more suitable. But yeah, you can be part of the game. There'll be other options we're going to try and do as well to get more community involved in the game too. Especially when it comes to the other collectible, which is like the archives, where you can learn more about the story of the world and the game that's taking place there. So the way the story will unfold is you find collectibles and unlock collectibles when you level up and things like that. And they unlock logs, which you can read and learn about the characters, the world, and what's actually happened here, and the story and the twists that have happened, and try and tell a compelling story in that way. Yeah. Is stylized rendering allowed? Each year, like my current profile. It's like a work photo, so like an ID badge work photo. So probably not stylized rendering. Ideally, and like a work photo. Essentially, that's the best way to think about it, like an ID badge. So the players can unlock, like, it's almost like dog tags. They can get dog tags about you. So yeah, we're gonna probably have some like community source stuff in there, in terms of those sort of stories, and let people tell their own little short stories with create their own little characters, maybe about their experiences on the ship and the world they're in. We're still ironing that kinks, but the manifest is definitely something that we can pop in, no problem. Figured out if you put the image outside the canvas, like I have for. If you zoom in. Oh, yeah. So it does. Yeah, no idea. It's an interesting little thing, isn't it? No idea. Never seen that before. I can't even imagine why that would be a thing. Yeah, no idea. Yeah. How to switch correctly between 3D and 2D players in the same world. Creating a minigame. While 2D works fine, the 3D does not work properly in the other direction. I'm not too sure what you mean. That's something I'd have to see for myself. Because that could be all sorts of things. Freaky, is there any problem if you don't use a canvas panel in the UI? No, if anything, it's better not to use canvas panels. Canvas panels are expensive to use, so if you are going to use one. Don't use them too many, unless you have to use them. I've got into the habit of using overlays more often when I can. They're a lot cheaper to use and a lot easier. Canvas panels can be a bit fiddly. But more importantly, they are just a bit of a resource hog, so try not to use too many of them. But yeah. Anyway, we'll have to call it there, unfortunately, as I've got to go into a private session with someone. But we will be doing a live stream tomorrow, playtest of Mimic, with everything working as it should do. So it should be fine, hopefully. Touch wood and all the rest of it. So if you want to join us live tomorrow, we'll be doing a live stream session, working through Mimic and playtesting that with people from the community. If you want to be part of that, and you are a Patreon member, do reach out on Patreon and I can get you a key. I'm still working through a backlog of people trying to catch up and things like that. So yeah, please do. That'd be cool to check out. There have been a few UI updates, a few animation updates, a few things tweaked with the game design sort of things. Yeah, looking pretty cool at the moment. So yeah, when's the new series out on Patreon? So we fell behind on loads of things. We've got designed by committee. Final episodes are coming out on Patreon on a weekly basis. Episode 6 will be out later today, tomorrow morning. The survival one, ASAP. There's a big beast. Like the first module is done and edited, but that's the easiest one. The others are a lot more intense. I'm working through it, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Just been held back by various things and work things. But yeah. Yep, the playtest for Mimic will be tomorrow, about this time tomorrow, if not an hour earlier tomorrow, for Mimic playtest. So do come along and check it out. We'll be in a Discord channel in the voice chat, so jump into there to check that out there. Okay. Anywho, I must jump, but have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.